Today we are going to be looking at simplifying radicals. So far we have learned how to evaluate perfect square roots and estimate square roots. Now we want to find an exact answer for square roots that are non-perfect. So let's recall a factor tree. So we're going to find the prime factorization of 48. So what numbers divide 48? If we start small, 2 goes into 48. And 2 is into 48 24 times. And then we can break open 24. So what divides into 24? 2 does. And 2 is into 24 12 times. And then we can break open 12. 2 goes into it 6 times. And then 6 we can break open. 2 goes into it 3 times. So our prime factorization here would be everything on the outside. 2, 2, 2, 2, and 3. So we have 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. All of these numbers here on the outside are prime. You can't divide anything into it except for 1. So we're going to apply that now to square roots. So we have 180. So what numbers can divide into 180? We could start small or we can start larger. Does not matter. So if we just do 2, and then 2 goes into 180 90 times. 2's prime, so we break open 90. So 90 can be broken into 9 and 10. 9 is not a prime number. That can be broken into 3 times 3. And 10 we can break into 2 times 5. Now 2 and 5 are prime numbers as long as 3 are 2. So circle everything that is at the end of your branches. So these 5 numbers are at the end. Now, we have to have a buddy to be on the outside of a radical. So we have 2 times 3 times 3 times 2 times 5. So we need doubles. So we have a 2 and a 2. So we're going to take this 2 and this 2 and only write it on the outside of our radical once. Now we have a 3 and a 3. We're going to write it on the outside once, and anything left over we bring to the inside of our radical. And now we simplify. 2 times 3 is 6, square root of 5. So you have to have a buddy, so you have to have pairs to come on the outside. And when you come on the outside, we just write it once. So let's do some problems here. So this first one, we have square root of 75. We need to simplify it. So what number goes into 75? 5 does. And 5 goes into 75 15 times. 5 is prime, so we need to break open 15. What numbers divide into 15? 5 goes into 15 3 times. So 5's prime, 3 is prime, so we stop here. So we write our factors, 5 times 5 times 3. Now we need our pairs. Our pairs go on the outside of the radical, and then our solo goes on the inside. So 5 square root of 3 is a simplified version of square root of 75. Now let's look at the square root of 225. So what number goes into 225? We start small. We can do 2 goes into 2. Let's try that again. 2 does not go into it. 5 goes into it. 5 goes into 225 45 times. 5 is prime, so then we go and break open 45. 45 can be divided by 5 9 times. 5 is prime, so we can circle them and then break open our 9. 3 goes into 9 3 times, and 3 are prime numbers, so we circle them. Now let's rewrite this. 5 times 5 times 3 times 3. We have a pair. Pair goes on the outside. We have another pair. That goes on the outside. There's nothing left over, so we do not have a radical. So 5 times 3 is 15. So the square root of 225 is 15. Let's look at the square root of 12. What numbers divide into 12? 12 we can take 3 out of. 3 times what gives you 12? 3 times 4. Good. Now 3 is prime. 4 we need to break open. And 2 goes into 4 twice. And 2 is prime. So we would write this as 3 times 2 times 2. We need pairs. Our pair is 2. It goes on the outside. Anything left over goes on the inside of the radical. So 2 square root of 3 is our answer. So number 4 here. Square root of 92. Let's break this open. 2 goes into 92 46 times. Now 2 is prime. We need to break open our 46. So 46 can be divisible by 2. So we can break that as 2. 2 goes into 46 23 times. Now 2 is prime. Now what about 23? Is there a number that divides into 23? There is not. So 23 is a prime number. So 2 times 2 times 23. We have buddies. Buddies go on the outside. Anything left over goes on the inside. So 2 square root of 23 is our answer. Let's look at number 5 now. Square root of 112. What goes into 112? We can divide it by 2. And when we divide 112 by 2, we get 56. 2 is prime. 56 we can divide by 2 again. If we divide it by 2, we get 28. 2 is prime. Break open 28. So 28 we can divide it by 2. We get 14. 2 is prime. 4 we can break open. And 2 goes into 14 7 times. 2 is prime. And 7 is prime. So we get 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 7. We have buddies, goes on the outside. Buddies again, goes on the outside. Solo goes on the inside. So 2 times 2 is 4. Bring over the square root of 7. Okay. Square root of 90. We can break this open. 10 goes into 90 9 times. 10 we can break open. 2 goes into 10 5 times. 2 is prime and 5 is prime. Now let's look at 9. 3 goes into 9 3 times. 3 is prime and 3 is also prime. So let's rewrite this. 2 times 5 times 3 times 3. Our buddies go on the outside, so 3. We have our solo numbers, so they go on the inside. 2 times 5. And 2 times 5 is 10. So our answer would be 3 square root of 10. So that is for simplifying square roots. Please reach out if you have any questions.